Hello YouTube, this is Richard, founder of Short-Term Rental Secrets and Airbnb Superhost. I get asked all the time, what's the #1 tip that people can do to improve their Airbnb hosting and their hospitality, and I'm going to share that with you right now. It may sound obvious and you've probably heard it before, but it's worth repeating and bearing in mind every single time you host somebody in your own home. So my #1 tip, and you can never go wrong with this unless you're really not meant to be a host, is, and you've heard this all before, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What does that mean exactly? Pretend that you are the guest. If you just put yourself in that guest's shoes and you try and host them so that they're comfortable at every step of the way, just like you would like to be hosted, you're going to do just great. So let me give you a couple of examples in real life. And in fact, I'm dealing with something just a couple days ago, so it's a prime example. Right now it's March Madness. I'm not a huge sports fan, but you know, the rest of the male population and maybe even the population at large lives and dies and seems to kill for March Madness. So I had guests check into my house in Colorado, and wouldn't you know it, the DirecTV service seemed to have failed. I've had this situation in the past, and oftentimes it's due to massive snowfall, so I just asked them to please go outside and take a look and see if the dish was obstructed. It was not. So I apologized and started to troubleshoot. Now, how would I like to be treated in that scenario? And what did I do for my guests? One, immediate response. I responded immediately to their concern and didn't minimize it and didn't tell them it's no big deal or didn't tell them they were doing it wrong. I said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let's do the first obvious thing. Please go take a look at the dish. Unobstructed? I'm on it. Let me call DirecTV. We'll get this thing straightened out. Wouldn't you know it, there was an issue with the account. It was an error 203. I was on hold for a period of time. And you've heard me say before that I only work 4 to 5 hours or so on this business. Most of the time, it's trying to solve issues like this where I'm on the account or it's late at night or anything like that. But the point is, there was an error on the account. I tried to resolve it. They told me it would take an hour and it would be cleared up. And I communicated all that to my guest, and then I checked back in with them an hour later to see if it was resolved. I didn't wait for them to come and complain again. I proactively set my alarm, and then I contacted them in an hour. Lo and behold, it wasn't working. I found out what the issue was. It turns out that CenturyLink and DirecTV have a relationship, and I have a combined account, and so one of my credit cards had expired, and long story short, somebody put a hold on it, and I was calling DirecTV. I really needed to call CenturyLink. But rather than just have their vacation spoiled and March Madness be spent at a bar, I contacted DirecTV, I contacted CenturyLink, and I proactively communicated with my guests while they were out skiing that it's supposed to be working, please check in. And then when the day was over, I checked in with them again, and sure enough, it was fixed. Now, were they delighted with my customer service? No, I think that they thought it was really, really impressive and that I was responsive and so on. Did it make their trip? Well, to some degree. I mean, they wanted to be skiing and they want to be watching March Madness and it happens once a year, so they were relieved. But if you empathize with them and communicate and try and get it resolved as quickly as possible, you'll gain a loyal fan and a loyal following. And my gut tells me that on the review for this stay, it'll say something like, communication was great, Richard was very responsive, we did have a minor issue, but boy, was he a great host. And those things, for future prospective guests, mean a ton. Nobody expects the home to be 100% perfect 100% of the time. Everybody understands that things do happen. The question is, the host that you want to stay with, how do they respond? How do they make their efforts and abilities make it so that you get what you want and you're delighted and so on? And that is the kind of thing where when somebody's reading the different reviews, they will actively select a home that's more expensive or a home that's maybe a little bit further away, or any number of decisions that they make based on what the reviews say. So in some ways, having an issue and a resolution that's successful and a fan that writes about how great a host you are is superior to having no issues, a 5-star review, and one word like amazing, period. But my point is, do unto others as you would want done unto you, and you will shine as a host. You'll get a lot of great reviews, and you'll make a lot of people really happy, and that's really worthwhile. So I hope you found this helpful and interesting. In the meantime, happy hosting. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We've got more content coming out all the time, and I really appreciate your time and interest. Take care.